This is a quick video response to Oliver Huey. Oliver, I hope I pronounced your surname properly. If I didn't, apologies and correct me. Oliver put up a video yesterday. I should say Oliver has a great little channel which is growing, so please consider, I'll put a link up on the top right hand side now. Please consider having a look at his channel and subscribing. Oliver, you raised a couple of issues yesterday about your worm bin and some concerns about the fact that the worms were at the bottom and they were hanging around the cardboard and ignoring the rest of the stuff. Well, here's one of my bins. Quite a few worms in it, lots of lovely food, and there's worms at the bottom in the cardboard. Worms absolutely love cardboard, but I should say make sure if you add cardboard, it's plain cardboard, nothing glossy coated. So just plain brown cardboard, worms love it. If you think about the parent that, you know, frantically gets through a day's work to get finished in time so they can get out on time, to get home on time, beating all the traffic to get the kids' school dinner on the table, get the kids' dinner on the table after school, and the kid comes in and throws his bag in the hall and goes off and helps himself to a bowl of cornflakes, ignoring the dinner. Worms are that child, okay? So this bin has got bananas, melons, apple cores, sweet corn, you can see there, and still you see worms at the bottom of the bin hanging around the cardboard. So that is nothing to worry about. Also, your bin is quite new, so worms tend to go to the bottom until they sort of settle and got used to the environment before they start to go exploring. So again, the fact that your worms are staying at the bottom of the bin and don't seem terribly productive at the moment and seem to be just interested in the cardboard is absolutely nothing to worry about at all and perfectly normal. I just want to say something about feeding your bin. Your bin is very small, so you'll hear and see about adding eggshells to the bins. Just everything with your bin now should be in moderation, so 1 or 2 eggshells would be enough. You'll see people crushing eggshells like this. That's absolutely brilliant. It adds calcium to the final product, but eggshells like that are no use to the worms. It needs to be ground up like this. The worms will suck that into their gizzard as they're sucking in the sloppy rotten fruit, and they use that those ground up eggshells in their gizzard to crush the food and pass it along. Where it comes out the other end as castings. But just, you see the dust that comes off this stuff. Be very careful around it, and hold your breath or wear a mask if you're using a lot of it. But again, it should literally be a pinch in your case because your bin is quite small. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, adding actual foodstuffs, again, because you've got a small bin, small but lovely, but it is small. If we imagine this, if we say for argument's sake that this melon has 4 sides, okay, breaking it up like I'm about to do into 10 little pieces creates 40 sides or more, actually, because you have top, bottom, 2 sides and 2 ends. So you've created sort of 6 sides to each piece, and you've got 10. So you've created 60 sides. I know you haven't, because the ends, the 2. Oh, never mind. You know what I'm getting at. You increase the surface area. That gives the bacteria more area to cover and work on, which means the stuff breaks down quicker, which means the worms can use it quicker. So that's a little tip which you might find useful. And the other thing you can do is, if you're adding a very small amount of food, is freeze it. Freeze it for a day or 2 and then let it thaw out, and squash as much fluid as you can. The freezing breaks down the cell structure of whatever it is once it's thawed out. So squash as much fluid and juice out as you can, and then add it to your bin, and the worms will be able to use it and eat it much quicker. Now, you mentioned you had 6 worms. That's quite a small number of worms, even for your small bin. They won't reproduce, obviously, until they're adults, and I think you said you didn't see any signs of young ones about. It could be a little while before you see any of those signs. These are 2 adults, so I just wanted you to have a look at them. You know they're adults because they have a clitellum. Now, there's a better shot of the clitellum coming up, which is that pink swelling behind the head. Here's the better shot, I think, yeah. So you can see that pink swollen area. That's the clitellum, and these are the cocoons. The yellow one has just been laid, and the brown one is about to hatch. They change colour as they get nearer to hatching. Hatching, depending on condition, takes between 30 and 90 days, and it takes again another 30 to 90 days, depending on conditions, for the hatchlings, if you like, to reach sexual maturity in adulthood, and they can start reproducing. So initially your bin is going to grow very slowly if you just stick with the 6 worms, but after a certain point in time, you know, the growth becomes exponential and you'll see the population increase very quickly. I would feed the bin accordingly, so don't add too much, because you read all this stuff about worms eating their own body weight, but if you think about it, you have 6 worms, 6 grams of food a day, not a lot, but that will grow over time. So as long as you're happy and patient with your little bin, and you're quite happy to wait, I think looking at it, everything is going well. I don't know if it's red wrigglers you have or dendrobina, most likely red wrigglers, but nothing to worry about, Oliver. I hope this helped.